In American constitutional law, the political question doctrine is closely linked to the concept of justifiability as it comes down to a question of whether or not the court system is an appropriate forum in which to hear the case. This is because the court system only has authority to hear and decide a legal question and not a political question. Legal questions are deemed to be justiciable, while political questions are non-justiciable. John E. Finn explained, I quote, "The political question doctrine holds that some questions in their nature are fundamentally political and not legal. And if a question is fundamentally political, then the court will refuse to hear that case. It will claim that it does not have jurisdiction, and it will leave that question to some other aspect of political process to settle out." Unquote. A ruling of non-justifiability will ultimately prohibit the issue that is bringing the case before the court from being able to be heard in a court of law. In the typical case where there is finding of non-justifiability due to the political question doctrine, the issue presented before the court is usually so specific that the Constitution gives all powers to one of the coordinate political branches, or at the opposite end of the spectrum, the issue presented is so vague that the United States Constitution does not even consider it. A court can only decide issues based on law. The Constitution dictates the different legal responsibilities of each respective branch of government. If there is an issue why the court does not have the Constitution as a guide, there are no legal criteria to use. When there are no specific constitutional duties involved, the issue is to be decided through the democratic process. The court will not engage in the political dispute. A constitutional dispute that requires knowledge of non-legal character or use of techniques not suitable for a court or explicitly assigned by the Constitution to the US Congress or the President of the United States is a political question, which judges customarily refuse to address. Marbury v. Madison bequeathed courts the awesome power of judicial review. Even while Chief Justice John Marshall declared that judicial interpretation restrained the other two branches of government, however, he recognized limits to this power. Marshall made clear that the province of the court was solely to decide on the rights of individuals, not to inquire how the other branches perform duties in which they have a discretion. Hence, questions in their nature political, or which are by the Constitution and laws submitted to the executive and can never be made in this court, given the generality of Chief Justice Marshall's pronouncement, what constituted a question in its nature political, or whether the prohibition applied to congressional matters remained unclear